My name's Gerald DeWitt. I'm a volunteer here at Niles Canyon Railway in the steam department. Been doing this about 20 years. And you're looking right now at the number 4. The locomotive is a compound locomotive. There's 2 engines underneath this thing, built by Baldwin. Our celebration today will be a lot of fun. We'll operate the engine, giving people rides, and there'll be speeches and all kinds of fun stuff. You can, matter of fact, see Chuck down there with an oil can. He's pumping oil into the bearings, and he'll work his way down this side, across the locomotive, and go down the other side. Yesterday, on Friday, we were out here all day, greasing, making little repairs, getting supplies and equipment ready. It's a labor of love to do this. Greasing is a proposition that takes a couple hours. You check the oil in the dynamo, which provides us with headlight power. Lubricate the air compressor. All of these things are, small in and of themselves, but when you add them all up, it takes a while.
It looks
I'm Jeff Schwab, a volunteer at the Niles Canyon Railway Steam Department, and this is Clover Valley number 4's 100th birthday. We're happy to have people come out and see this engine that we've been spending a lot of time on keeping running with an all-volunteer staff.
My name is David Burla. I've been a member of the Pacific Locomotive Association since 1973. And at the time we considered getting this locomotive. I was working for a trucking company that I persuaded to go out and pick up the engine for us and bring it from Reno. At the time, we were running in Richmond in a little railroad called Castor Point Railway. It was supposed to be an easy move. We pulled the front engine out to put on one trailer, and the bigger part was to go on a 9-axle. In order to put the parts on the trailers, we had to get some rail. And we had a stack of rail in Richmond. And so we took the smaller truck to Richmond, and it hadn't rained in Richmond on July 8th for over 100 years. Well, that day, of course, it rained hard like this. And of course, under the Richmond Santa Fe Bridge, there was a waterfall onto our rail pile. So we got soaked loading those rails on that truck. But we finally got it up there, and we loaded the first truck, the first part, the small part, on the first truck, and it headed back that day. But the rest of the load didn't come to Richmond until the end of the week, so it took longer than we thought. At any rate, I have a copy of the August 1974 club car, the newsletter for our group, and it has a description of how the engine was moved, and it was moved in July of 1974.
We have a nice open heart fire. Where are the hot dogs? Or is he the guy at the roll? Right, guys. So we're having fun with the volunteers here for the Clover Valley Mallee's 100th birthday today. Chuck's getting his chance to be an engineer, and he's having a great time.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for coming out for our 100th birthday celebration of the Clover Valley number 4. My name's Henry Baum, and I'm president of the Pacific Locomotive Association. We're the owner-operators of the Niles Canyon Railway, Valley number 4. And we're really excited to have you all out here on such a wonderful day. The PLA has been out here and been together since 1965, formed by 6 bands of steam locomotives who wanted to make sure that it would be preserved in perpetuity. So getting this equipment restored, operational, and in use has always been our goal as an organization. We've been running trains here at Niles Canyon since 1987, and we have a number of working steam locomotives. We have a number of working diesel locomotives. Many of you are probably very familiar with our wildly popular holiday train, the Train of Life, that we run. This was a phenomenal year. This year we sold out our 28,000 tickets in 4 hours. So it's becoming more and more difficult to get tickets to this event. We're looking to do more events like this in the future. But the biggest thing we need right now is volunteers. We are an all-volunteer operation, and it's volunteers that have built this up, and volunteers that will keep it running. And we just want to invite you all to come out, have a good time, take a ride, think about volunteering, think about donating too. If you don't want to volunteer your time, we're more than happy to accept your money. You'll see signs around here where you can just click on the QR code and try to make it as easy as possible for you. But once again, I want to welcome you all for coming today, and I hope we get through this rain. We've got plenty of paperwork that kind of talks about the engine, but it was originally built for logging service for the Clover Valley Lumber Company up in the Feather River Canyon in northeastern California. One of the few logging mallees built for California service, and it's also one of the few logging mallees that was built and operated on the same railroad for its whole life. In 1957, Clover Valley, which had changed names to the Feather River Lumber Company, shut down, and they took the Malley by rail from there to near Sparks, Nevada, to a lumber mill, where it sat and was used for stationary boiler service for the lumber mill. That was fortuitous because that's the reason the engine survived. The lumber mill ended up being shut down and eventually torn down, and the engine was sitting there in a fenced field for years, and the Pacific Locomotive Association talked to the lumber company and managed to get it donated, and it was moved from in that area, Sparks, down to Casper Point Railway, which is in Richmond. It ran at Casper Point, and then when we moved from Casper Point to Niles Canyon, it was stored for quite a few years, and then came on its own wheels from Fremont. Well, actually came on its own wheels from Richmond to Fremont, and then Fremont to Niles Canyon. And at that point, we had just finished working on the Robert Dollar locomotive, and for some reason we thought we'd like to take on a Malley. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, interesting story. Alan and I started, 30 years ago, maybe a little longer, when these engines were stored at Shin Street. This one, Shade 12, and Heistler number 5. Alan and I, every year, would go down and oil the engines, make sure everything was okay, checking them out. And it was a big day when they finally got to move here and parked it. Like Alan said, we finished the Robert Dollar, and we were looking for another candidate. And we took a trip, Alan and I and Henry Luna, to Black Hills, and we rode behind their Malley. And we're just impressed about how awesome it was to see it run and whatnot. And we're like, we should take a shot and look at ours and see what we can do. And the race was on, and we got it finished, and it's been running for now
Since 2012.
since 2012. So it's a labor of love. We have no paid staff on the steam department. Many hours to make this happen, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we do.
Like Jeff said, there's no paid staff. We're always looking for volunteers for anything we do, and we do a lot of different things. It's a big organization. Certainly you see us running trains, but there's hundreds of jobs that have nothing to do with that to keep this operation going. So it's a fun organization, good group of people. We wouldn't be out here if we didn't like working with the people we work with. We always learn something new. Come on out and volunteer. Get your hands dirty. Learn about American railroading history.
Let's get on the train.
We're sitting in another one of our historic pieces of equipment that we have here at the Niles Canyon Railway. This is actually Pickering Lumber Company caboose, number 4. We were lucky to acquire this probably 10 years ago. One of our members, when he was a kid, actually purchased this from Pickering, and he had it on his mom's property. And those of people that ride BART may remember seeing the thing off on the west side of the BART tracks in San Leandro, where his mom's farm was, which is now a housing development. But so we've got this caboose. A couple of our members spent a lot of time redoing the outside, replacing wood. It hasn't run since 2019, and we thought it was appropriate to pull it out for the Clover Valley number 4's 100th birthday anniversary, because it's kind of an example of a logging caboose that would have been in service with the Clover Valley. So we're excited to show this off as well. I think this was built in the 20s as well, so it's close to 100 years old as well. You don't really think about how old the equipment is until you get to some of the, an anniversary like this with the Clover Valley. 1924 it was built. Here we are 100 years later. We need to do something special for this. And it's a great thing for the volunteers. It's kind of a fun event for us. Get to do something different. We get to showcase one of our pieces of equipment that's 100 years old. Gives the organization some opportunities to get out in the media, get exposure where we wouldn't normally get exposure. And we're hoping this event will bring more ridership through the summer. We get the word out. Nothing we do here is easy, and it requires a lot of volunteer help, as we are all volunteers, so we're always looking for volunteer help. Niles Canyon Railway has opportunities from train crew to mechanical work to signals, track work, station crew, docents. There's a media group that takes care of our website. And there's opportunities for any skill set, anything you want to learn. Most of the people here don't know anything about railroads before they start working at the Niles Canyon Railway. And the methods and ways of doing things are kind of passed down from the older members, and we all learn. Every day we're here, we learn something new. It's a lot of fun. So check out our website, www.ncry.org. There's a lot of information on there about the railroad, about our equipment, how you can volunteer, when we run trains. So it's a good resource. And, we thank you for watching, and we thank you for your support for the Niles Canyon Railway.